Okay. The next topic we're going to cover is rate of change in graphing lines. So instead of having a scenario, this is just like tables and graphs. So if I have a table, these are the steps on finding the rate of change. So my first job is to pick 2 points. You can pick any 2 points that you want. I'm just going to pick the first 2. Usually, when I choose points, I try and pick the points that don't have negative numbers. And the reason that I do that is because I know that negative numbers are hard to subtract, and I'm probably going to make a mistake. You can pick any 2 points. I try to choose the ones that don't have negative numbers. So, our first step is to find the difference in the y values. Difference means to subtract. So here's my y value of 78. And I'm going to subtract my next y value of 156. The next part is to find the difference in the x values. So here are my x values. I started with 78. That was the first one on the top. So I'm going to have to start with 2 and do 2 minus 4. 78 minus 156 is negative 78. 2 minus 4 is negative 2. Negative 78 divided by negative 2 is positive 39. So that's my rate of change. Question?
Couldn't you just make your life so much easier and just divide by 2?
Do 78 divided by 2? You could, but the only reason that works is because this starts at the origin. It starts at 0, 0. Not all of your graphs will do that. Like this one will be different. You can't do 80 divided by 10 is 40.
But that one, in that case, you can.
Yeah, in this case you can. It's called a direct variation. Alright, I'm going to show you another example on this graph to show you that it does not matter which 2 points you pick. So I'm going to pick these 2 points. They're 2 different ones. We could even pick the top one and the bottom one. It really does not matter. You should try to choose ones that are close to each other, because if you do that, you probably won't have to simplify too much. So, last time I did the top minus the bottom. This time I'm going to do it the other way. 234 minus 156. So I started with the bottom number, and I'm subtracting the number up top. Start with the 6, the bottom number, subtract 4. 234 minus 156 is 78. 6 minus 4 is 2. And again, 78 divided by 2 is 39. So it does not matter which 2 points you pick. It does not matter which order you subtract. But you have to stay consistent about your subtraction. So if you're going to start with the top number and subtract the bottom, make sure you start with the top again and subtract the bottom. If you're going to start with the bottom and then subtract the top, make sure you do that with your other x values. Question?
What if we just did the, like, what if we, like, what if we just did 60, like 80 minus 60, right? So that's one.
So this is 80 minus 60. Oops. 80 minus 60, and then 10 minus 20. So 80 minus 60 is 20. 10 minus 20 is negative 10. 20 divided by negative 10 is negative 2. So my slope here is negative 2. And then you guys do this one on your own. Something I want to point out, I said I try to choose the points that aren't negative. I did this one to show you why. 1 minus negative 2. A lot of people will just do 1 minus 2 because they see a negative already there. You don't want to make a mistake with your integers. So better points to pick would be 0, 4, and 5, 1, because 4 minus 1 is nicely 3. 0 minus 5, I think we all know that's negative 5. And so you still get negative 3/5. Either way you do it, as long as you do it correctly, you will get the same answer. Are there any questions? Okay.
Is that 80 to 5?
This is 80 minus 60. I made a mistake. 80 minus 60. I don't know if that's any better. Okay. Writing an equation from a graph. This is our formula. This formula is called slope-intercept form. This is a form of a line when you're given the slope and the y-intercept. You can plug it in, or if you already have that equation, you use the slope and the y-intercept to graph the line. There's also a form called point-slope form. That's when you're given a point that's not the y-intercept and a slope. There's another form of a line called standard form, and that's when you use x and y, or that's how you can find x and y intercepts easily. We did standard form with our literal equations last unit. But this is the one we need to know this year. The other ones I'll probably do as an extension with you at some point. So, first we need to identify our y-intercept, or b. So look at your y-axis, find the y-intercept, that point, write it down. That's going to be plugged in for b in our equation. And then we're going to find the slope. The y-intercept will almost always be a point that we can use to find the slope. Sometimes x-intercepts are nice, not always. But these 2 points are nice points. This point is on the line exactly at 0, 3. This point is on the line exactly at negative 2, 1. So to go from one point to the next, we go up 3, 1, 2, 3. Over 2, 1, 2. So my slope is 3/2. You rise 3, and you run 2. That gets plugged in for m in our equation. The only letters you plug things in for are m and b. Those are the only 2 letters we'll plug in for. That means the y should always be in our equation, equals m, which is 3/2, times x, that's always in our equation, plus our y-intercept, which is 3. Okay, you guys try these next 2. Alright, check your answers. If your slopes are different, I understand that they're hard to read on this one. You might have written a slope as negative 1/3 on this one, or 3/2 on that one. But those aren't the real slopes, because this line is like slightly above that point, so that's a better point to choose. If you try to go over here, this line is slightly above that nice point. So if you got your slope wrong, I understand why you would have done that. And on your test, I promise that they won't be so close or hard to tell. Or they'll be multiple choice. You guys have any questions? Alright, we're almost done. I know these were really long notes today. Don't switch it? Okay. Okay, this last one is special cases, so funny looking lines. If I wanted to graph the line y equals -2, that's saying my y value is always equal to -2, no matter what, because there's no other variable there. So y is always -2. In my table, make sure the y value always has -2 in it. And then x can be whatever. It doesn't really matter. But it just matters that y always equals -2. If we try and graph this to see what it looks like, we have the points -3, -2, 0, -2, 1, -2, 5, -2. What do you notice about all of these points? They're all in a straight horizontal line. So this is a horizontal line. Oops. And to find my slope, we do rise over run. So I'm just going to pick this first and second point. How many do you go up? You don't go up, so you go up 0. And how many do you go over? 1, 2, 3. Doesn't really matter. So up 0 and over 3, what's 0 divided by 3? 0. So the slope is 0. Is this a function? Yes. How did I get 0? Here or here? Both of them? This 0 is to go from one point to the next. I go up 0. I don't have to go up at all. That's the rise. And then I go over 3. 0 divided by 3 is 0. You a different way or point? That's okay. So like here, from one point to the next, we go up 0 and over 1. 0 divided by 1 is 0. Okay, this one, x equals 5, so where should I put all the 5s? Underneath x. X is always 5. That never changes. And y can be whatever it wants. So I'll do -4, -1, 0, and 3. So x is 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. So 5, -4. 5, -1. 5, 0. 5, 3. What about these points? What do you notice about them? They're all vertical. They're all on top of each other. Is this a function?
No.
No, because the x values repeat. And this is why we have the vertical line test. Because all along this line, all of the x values are 5. So it can't be a function because all of the x values are the same. They're all repeating. So this vertical line test shows you where all the x values are the same. All right, let's count the slope. I'm going to do these top 2 points. How many do I go up? Up 3, and how many do I go over? 0. What's 3 divided by 0?
0. 3 divided by
Take out your calculator. What's 3 divided by 0?
error.
You get an error. You cannot divide by 0. You cannot divide by 0. If you took 3 cookies and you gave them to 0 friends, you still have 3 cookies in your hand, and that doesn't make sense. It was impossible to hand them out. Yeah. You cannot divide by 0. A way to remember that, okay? No. It's okay to have 0 on the top. It's not okay to have 0 on the bottom. If 0 is on the bottom, your slope is undefined. Okay, the slope is not error. The word you need to know is undefined. You have to know how to spell that. Un, defined. D-E-F-I-N-E-D. Undefined. Undefined, sure. So, a horizontal line, what kind of slope is that? 0. And does the equation start with x or y? Y. And where does it cross the y-axis? 5. So the y value is always 5. If you're unsure of if it should be x or y, you can either think it crosses the y-axis, so it has to have a y in it, or you can just write your point. So like this point is 0, 5. This point is 3, 5. This point is negative 5, 5. And I would notice that it's the y value that's staying the same. If you have a vertical line, what's the slope? Does your equation start with x or y? X. And what does x equal? Negative 3. If you're unsure, this point is negative 3, 0. This point is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 6. Oh, sorry. Negative 3, 6. This point is negative 3, negative 3. So it's your x value that's always staying the same. Okay? Questions?